principles of open governments and community engagement that Cranberry residents expect and deserve. Their unilateral action disregards the expertise and input of those appointed to protect our environment and uphold the town's master planning vision. Farmland in Cranberry is not just undeveloped land. It plays an active role in maintaining water quality, reducing stormwater runoff, preserving biodiversity, and supporting our rural heritage. The decisions to pave over this land sacrifices long-term environmental sustainability for short-term development pressures. It threatens to destabilize the environmental balance of the area, contributing to increased flooding risks, habitat loss, and irreversible landscape fragmentation. Moreover, Cranberry should stand with the more than 40 communities across the state that are actively challenging the state's arbitrary affordable housing quotas. Municipalities such as East Amwell, Upper Saddle River, and Mahwah have recognized that these mandates, when applied without regard to local context, infrastructure, or environmental sensitivity, can do more harm than good. Cranberry must have the courage to do the same. Our town should not be bullied into overdevelopment that undermines its character and threatens its natural resources. This action by the Township Committee does not reflect the values of this Cranberry resident, nor does it represent the thoughtful, conservation-minded approach that has long defined our community, well before I joined it. I call on this committee to pause this process, engage with the appropriate commissions, and join its residents in a meaningful, transparent dialogue before taking any further steps that would permanently alter the land and legacy we are all entrusted to protect. Thank you.
Thank you, and I would thank you for your comments. I would ask both of you to send me the written comments that will be an attachment to the minutes at the very least. Any questions or comments about that from our liaison or anyone on the commission? Obviously, I am not informed about this issue. And so that's troubling in and of itself. I was contacted by members of this commission, and that's when I found out about it. But obviously, it had been under discussion for a long time. So that makes it complicated, to say the very least. I think at the very least to have a little bit of information shared with us from the township's perspective. Now, I would also say, I haven't been on the DRC that long, but that's a place where something like this usually comes through, or the planning board. So, and it may have, I don't know. So, but I think maybe the town, obviously, affordable housing is a complicated issue in all towns in New Jersey. Cranberry's no exception, maybe a little bit more complicated than other towns for some reasons of lack of obvious space. But that's no excuse. That's no excuse. And we would like to have the town, at the very least, describe the process to us.
First of all, I want you to know the township committee members represent the municipality. As you know, I am on the county farmland preservation, and for me to do this is very difficult.
It's despicable.
Excuse me. This is the kind of vitriol that we have been receiving on trying to do what's best for the municipality. John, there is a frequently asked questions that came out. I highly recommend you read it. Township committee members are available for you to speak with. Okay? It is a very, very tight schedule that we had to meet. Properties have been looked at and vetted for specific criteria. it's a complicated process. The legislation puts us in a very, very difficult position. And to be personally called out constantly. Each township committee member has been yelled at directly. That's not a way to engage. Yes, it's a way to show anger and disrespect. And you can continue to disrespect, but at some point, I think you're going to realize that this decision does not come easily, and that each step, we're still going to meet the June 30th deadline, and there are still steps there that need to be done. So read, understand, ask questions, but don't be angry at each individual person. We serve the public. We spend our precious time, and our families live here too. And don't forget that, okay?
I wanted to add, I had another sort of element to my remarks that were sort of more personal that I wanted to sort of speak to and acknowledge. I have empathy for the difficult position the Township Committee finds itself in. I feel that the FAQ and the presentation on May 12th was just not enough transparency. I don't think it answered the questions that the public really had, and maybe there is a level of like sensitive information around the properties that you all had to consider that maybe you can't disclose or make fully public, and that's something that, you know, we can discuss further. But I just feel that when engaging with the public, why weren't we given more time to discuss and give our input that wasn't in such a reactive way, right? It made everyone on the Township Committee feel attacked and defensive, and with good reason, because there wasn't sort of a forum in which there could be sort of a back and forth and more time and more consideration sort of given to it. You guys had worked on it, as you just presented, for so long, and we felt that we had come in so late in the process. So I feel that what I took away from the 2 Township Committee meetings where this was presented and then voted on was that the vote was driven by a love of Cranberry and a fear of a builder's remedy, a fear of increasing our affordable housing obligations, a fear of litigation, and not wanting to, you know, put the town in that kind of jeopardy, but also sort of like dismissing the public outcry and knowing that it wasn't something that was inevitable and that you guys were powerless against. It seems like that's how you guys all felt about it, that it was something you were powerless to do anything about, and that something had to go and it had to be this farm. And I almost wanted to hype you guys up and say that you are not powerless. You are people powered. And if you were to be our champions and bring this to the state, you know, we would be there behind you to see it through, to stand up as other communities have done and say that this is not just. And that I feel like the mayor, I have a paragraph here about the mayor tried to direct the ire away from the Township Committee members themselves personally, which was not okay, but also sort of redirected toward the state, and that our fight is with the state. And so then let's go fight with the state. Let's go see it through to the end, that we do not agree with these obligations and the bullying that's happening to conform to it, because it doesn't fit our town. And I think that's sort of where the disconnect is. And I agree that the passion and the anger, it shouldn't be personal attacks, but I do feel that the public felt dismissed and not given ample time to really communicate and feel that it was a collaborative process and that our input mattered. So I think that's kind of the gist of what I wanted to say, but that I really feel for you guys. And if it is that tough, you have the support, and there are other commissions and associated Cranberry Housing. There are other groups in town and other people that could have been called in to collaborate on this. And it felt sort of like you had used other experts that were not involved in the town. So from my understanding and my research. So thank you.
Thank you. So this is obviously a difficult issue. So, we're not here to resolve anything. But, I guess I would just reach out to, I'll educate myself as much as I can, but I will reach out to the town to just, get their thinking on this. But I like to tell people that, you can take leadership roles, but don't aim to change the end product. You can only change the process. And I think that's very important for us to let them know that the process is important, because that's how you get to the better goals. You don't know what the actual better goal is when you start out. Oh, you only know about the process. So I thank you for bringing the issue. It's a simple issue. It's a very difficult issue. So we will hopefully continue to be engaged with the town on this and see where it leads. Anyone else have anything they would like to add to that? Okay. I think we are at the end of new business. We did the public comment. I think we are set. If there was a motion to adjourn, unless there's any final comments. Okay.
Motion to adjourn?
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you. We'll see you next time.